Hopefully that went to the cloud.
I think you should be good. It came through on our side. Let us know. It let us know you were recording. We have to be on our best behavior
Yeah,
now. Glad
I
that it
gotta
warns
find it
us.
afterwards. Hey, and I don't know if you guys have used it before or not, but this AI companion stuff, the that worked out really well for our board meeting last week. I tell you,
Yeah, I saw
I
the
haven't edited
notes that
it
were
yet, but it
taken.
was really cool.
That's good. Good stuff.
All
Well, we're
right,
at five after, Jerry. If you don't mind, we'll get started and then the kids will probably
fine.
join as we're in
Welcome
progress.
everybody. We're light on our regular members, but anyway, I'm going to turn the meeting immediately over to leadership with Amanda and let her lead the meeting tonight.
Thanks, Jerry. So Kristen and Tom, thank you very much for joining us tonight. With the exception of Sally, and Randy, who just joined. The rest of us are members of the Motorcycling Rotarians. So we're a Rotary International Club that's based out of District 6380 in the southeastern Michigan area. For background, I became part of this club when Jerry and Rory got together and decided we needed an e-club. Jerry was actually my sponsor when I was an exchange student in high school. So way back when. So we were a club, we run about 35 members between full members and associate members. We have members who join us, but they're part of what we call a brick and mortar club wherever they live. And because we're an e-club, they call in because it's convenient. Everybody in our club right now is a motorcyclist. We all ride. That's the thing that brings us together. That's not who we are going forward. We're broadening our horizons a bit. So I welcome you to join us at any time, whether you join as a member or not. But I wanted to invite you two specifically tonight because 3 weeks ago I had the pleasure with Sally and Randy, who will definitely come on camera, of going to the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards up in Michigan. And we did a weekend retreat at Camp Kopnaconic YMCA camp, which was awesome. The RYLA kids, the RYLA kids, are all high school age. They came from District 6380, which is our district, and District 6400, which is more the Detroit metro area. And they all were put into teams. These two were fortunate enough to be part of the 11 team members that were Team Yellow, with me as their mentor and Randy as their team lead. And in addition to different leadership activities that they did throughout the weekend, one of the things that we take away from the RYLA camp is that each one of the teams comes up with a service project. So Rotary International has 7 areas of focus. We have peace building and conflict prevention, disease prevention and treatment, water, sanitation and hygiene, maternal and child health, basic education and literacy. That's funny that I tripped up on that one. Community economic development and supporting the environment. Our team, of their own volition, came up with a service project that focuses around focuses around community and economic development. So I wanted to invite Randy and Sally, who will come off mute and turn their cameras on and introduce themselves eventually. There we go. Are you driving? Random? Are you driving? Okay.
I'm passenger.
Okay. So if you guys don't mind, Randy, you can go first, and then Sally afterwards. Can you please introduce yourselves? Tell us who you are, where you go to school, who your sponsoring club was.
That's a good question. I'm Randy. Go win Memorial. Graduate tomorrow. I don't know who sponsored me.
I think you're a Royal Oak sponsor. I think you're a Royal Oak. We're gonna go with that.
Maybe.
Sally, how about you?
I'm Sally. I'm from Trillium Academy. I don't really know who sponsored me either. Like, I'm from Taylor, so
Yeah, it was the Taylor Club that sponsored you. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have put you guys on the spot. I should have made sure you knew that answer. So every one of the nearly 100 kids who went to RYLA this year was sponsored 100% by one of our local brick and mortar Rotary clubs. Our club will be sponsoring kids next year. It'll be kind of our first foray into sponsoring some RYLA kids. We're very excited about that. So Randy and Sally, if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to kind of walk through the slides, and I'd like you guys to chime in to talk through what you guys came up with as a team for your service project. Again, putting you on the spot because we didn't get to run this beforehand, so we'll see how this goes. You guys can let me know if you can see my screen, please. I think you should be able to. So Team Yellow got together. Am I sharing? I'm not sharing. Let's try that again.
You are.
Yeah,
I am.
we're seeing.
Okay. Team Yellow got together. They were talking amongst themselves and trying to come up with a different kind of project that wasn't let's go clean up a park, or what were the other ones you guys shot down? There was some, we don't want to go clean up a park. We don't want to do a book drive. We want to do something different and unique. And where they landed was a conversation around how hard it is for teenagers to find summer gigs. And a lot of that centered around not really understanding how to do a cover letter, how to do a resume, what's expected when you go into an interview. So that was the inspired, well, that's what inspired them, right? Is we recognize that they didn't have that. There's also, these kids, I say kids, and I don't mean that pejoratively. They truly are kids. They're teenagers, right? They sat down, they said, hey, we know that there's a huge age gap in the workforce, right? Huge age gap. That there's this gap between the ages, or before the age of about 25, where people are really just not in the workforce, they're not working. We want to kind of bridge that. And this is how we can spur economic development in our areas. We can get jobs that are local, and we can make sure that the people in our age group are set up with the skills to move forward and get jobs in the future. Just all this. Do you guys want to talk to these slides? Do you want me to keep waxing poetic while you're not driving, Randy?
Not driving, see? I mean, like, to get a job, you have to have experience, and you can't, like, get experience without experience, so, yeah.
Yeah, so we talked quite a bit. Sally was very instrumental in this. I had a group that was awesome. I'm going to tell you guys this. The group that we had was fantastic. We had some very quiet people and some not so quiet people. It was a really good combination. Sally had a lot of really great ideas and spoke up quite a bit during this time when we were trying to bound the problem. Like, what is the problem? What are we running into? And that was where we kept coming back, right? The kids want to find summer jobs. They want to know how they can find the jobs, where they can go to search, how they can get a job. If you don't have a job, you don't have experience, right? So the solution that they came up with was, hey, we need to introduce to these kids the importance of networking, show how they can truly craft a letter, a resume, and a cover letter. And we want to make sure that they created some really great resources in a Google Doc that they can share. And then also highlighting the benefits of online job boards and performing mock interviews. So that's Kristen and Tom. That's kind of where you guys come in, and anybody on our team who works remotely that we may be able to come in and help out with these mock interviews. So their plan as a team, they all live in different areas. They were kids who were from Ontario, the kids from the Detroit metro area, kids from where I grew up, kind of like an hour and a half-ish outside of Detroit North. All of these guys came up with an idea that they're going to go back to where they live, and they're all going to set up a meeting either at their school or their library or local church, something like that, where they can bring teenagers in to help them walk through these things and give them the resources they need to be successful. So find a location. They're all going to individually set a date and a time, which should have been completed by the 19th. We might be working on that a little bit now. And then find sponsors and advisors, guest speakers in their local areas. And create a Google Doc with how to write a resume, how to do a cover letter, and then a poster with event information and a QR code. And there was a lot of talk. You guys had a lot of conversation around the poster and whether it should have the QR code or not. And I would love to hear from you, Sally. What are your thoughts on where did you land on whether you're going to put the QR code on your poster or not?
Well, I think I will, because I think it's just easier. Like, what I was thinking is doing like a little presentation to my group at my school, and just having like the QR code on the presentation, maybe having the poster like separately too if people need it like around the school or something. But yeah, I was thinking definitely like some easy way for them to access it instead of like having to get the link. I feel like a QR code is just easier.
Yeah, and I think you guys you had a lot of really great ideas about, like, some kids may not be able to come to a meeting, but they would really find benefit and be able to click on that QR code and get access to these documents that we created, right? So these documents that are best practices and resources for finding jobs as a teen, and creating a cover letter, do's and don'ts, especially when it comes to writing a cover letter and writing a resume when you don't have experience, right? And building a strong resume. So these are all documents that, and the interview tips, these are all documents that would be linked with that QR code. So if somebody was just at school or wherever at the library and they couldn't maybe go to the meeting, but they wanted to hit that QR code and get these documents, they could do that as well. So it's something that they're providing to their community around them, whether they sit in the meeting or not, which is nice, right? So that's a push versus pull mentality when it comes to getting information out of people. So I'm proud of you guys for coming up with it.
Beautiful, Amanda. You did a great job.
Oh, you guys made that doc. I just made it pretty. So hosting the Career Spark, and that's funny, step 7 here, Madeline buys movie tickets. So our team had to do a presentation, and what they chose to do at RYLA as their presentation was a skit. So it was actually really entertaining, and I wish I had a video of it. I do not. But do you have a video, Randy?
I do. I just have to figure out a way to send it. Leland got a video for us.
That's
I don't know how good it is though.
There's a video.
It's what it is. But one of the things that I wanted to highlight, you know, how the kids were thinking about this, but they wanted to measure the impact. Like, how do you measure the impact of whether somebody acts like they go to the Google Doc, whether they interact with the Google Doc, whether they document or whether they download it, those kinds of things. So they all came up with a plan. They're going to do a Google survey that they're going to send out individually from where they are. And then we're setting up the Google Doc so that it actually shows interaction. So how many people touched it, how many people downloaded it, so they can see whether their return on investment for their time and their effort was worth it, or if there's things that they can improve. So make an impact slide is where everybody except Randy and Sally comes into play here. So Rotarians and guests of Rotarians, Kristen and Tom, what you can do in our local area is help spread the word, speak at events or host events. So I will say, you know, to our Rotarian friends, none of our kids unfortunately live in your physical areas where you are, but if this is something that the kids wanted to do remotely and do like a presentation over Zoom or something, that's something where we could participate. And then what I said, Jerry, about this being cool for our club, because we're an e-club and we have a hard time doing service projects sometimes because we're Tom and Kristen, we have members in all across Canada, all across the US, in Mexico City and in Guatemala. So we have members everywhere. One of the things that we can do is host mock interviews or look over resumes or things like that. That would be something we could touch and do remotely. So guys, I did your entire presentation for you. So now I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. So I'd like for Sally and Randy, as I put you on the spot here, Sally, you can go first. I think everybody here would like to know how you felt about RYLA, what you learned when you were at camp, about yourself, about other people. We had some interesting things go down. And whether I think you said you're a junior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got an opportunity to come back next year. So if you were to come back next year, what does that look for you? So what you learned about yourself and other people, and like how was your experience overall at RYLA?
Well, I thought it was like a really cool experience. I thought it was definitely really hard for me because I'm not very like extroverted like that. So I really had to push myself and like meet new people and communicate and stuff. But I met a lot of cool people and I got a lot of communication and everything. Yeah, I really liked how we had 3 different like leadership activities where we went through different aspects of leadership that help us be a better leader. Like we went over like communication, I think, and like encouragement, and I think there was another one. It was like teamwork, maybe.
Was it teamwork? Yeah, that was the basketball one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, the marshmallow one. So the 3 activities they did a chair basketball. They did the Jerry, I think you've done this with me, where you have the spaghetti sticks and the marshmallows and the piece of tape, and you got to build a big structure. And then the high ropes course, which I had the pleasure of manning all weekend. I think my hands are still sore. I'm not gonna lie. So you learned about yourself. So I think in my note that I wrote you, I said, hey, you are quiet, but you have a powerful quiet about you, right? You're very good at looking at situations and evaluating what's going on and speaking up where it makes sense. So
Yeah.
I appreciated that about you being on our team. I think that a couple of people on this call are not superior extroverts either, though I might pretend to be. So thank you, Sally, for sharing. How about you, Randy? On the extroverted side, random Renfer.
I'm definitely an introvert. Well, obviously I love RYLA because it was my 4th year doing it. I mean, it's just a cool thing. I did the basketball one, and like watching the people work together and like figure it out, like watching it click was really cool. How was it say?
What else? So you've done this 4 years. So this was Randy's 4th year. She came in as a team lead. So I was a mentor and she was a team lead, and Sally was on our team. So Randy, like, how has it changed over the last 4 times that you've done it? How have you changed? What have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about Rotary?
The year's been different. They only started doing the 3-year rotations last year. Like my first year was online, so that year was like a lot of, they brought in small businesses, they presented, they talked about how they got there. The next year we were at the college in, I want to say Taylor, Michigan. And that year, like they had like a bunch of mini games and a bunch of presentations. So it was like hours and hours just sitting there listening to people talk. And then last year they switched it to this. And every 3 years every year for 3 years they change what they teach. So like you get to go for 3 years as a student, and you have to learn something new every year. You get new people, new games. So I think that's really cool if you're like constantly meeting new people and learning new stuff. I don't know. I mean, RYLA definitely made me an extrovert. So my first year, I was like too afraid to even look at anyone. They used to do like a lot of these games where like you would like have to talk to someone and make eye contact the entire time. So like they would do stuff like that like help you get out of your shell. And I think that's really cool.
Oh, I've never done that. That's one I might use that one at work. That'd be
I
fun.
also have Leland here, and he had a really positive experience. Do you want to hear his experience?
I do want to hear Leland's experience. He's not driving anymore, is he?
No, we're parked.
Okay.
We're at Kroger right now.
So like first year at RYLA,
You gotta show yourself.
first year at RYLA, it was pretty scary starting out. But like I like learned to be able to like talk to people a lot easier. I'm like a very introverted person normally. Well, like she isn't. So like she said that I should go into RYLA this year, and so I did. It's sort of pretty like scary. I mean, like I don't talk to people very often, but and I ended up like coming around near the end. And I talked to a bunch of people at the end, so
It's awesome.
it's
So I
a positive
mean,
experience.
were you team red? Is that right?
Yeah, Team Red.
Team red. Not as cool as team yellow, but yeah. You guys are side by side.
He was also talking about how like afterwards, after RYLA, talking to strangers was easier. We have a few presentations in class. He said those were easier. So I think that's like an important thing about RYLA is it helps people do stuff more.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, a big part of it is public speaking, right? A big part of it is doing that presentation at the end. Every single person had a speaking role in the skit that you guys did. I think you guys too, right? Leland, your skit, everybody had a speaking role.
Yeah.
So that's important so they worked together. I mean, in the course of 48 hours, they came up with a service project, came up with the steps to get it completed, and they came up with a presentation. So it was no small feat to be able to do that kind of in the in-between times when they weren't climbing trees and playing chair basketball and eating awesome camp food and running through the woods. So that's awesome. Thank you, Leland. Thank you. I'm glad that you were here. I didn't realize that you were the person driving.
I'm the person driving.
Okay, well, hopefully parking. All right, good stuff. So at this point, I want to say thank you guys very much for showing up. I know that you have very, very busy schedules. Randy, you graduate tomorrow, right? Yay, are you excited? I'm excited for you.
So excited.
Good. So I know you guys have super busy schedules. I want to open it up to the rest of the group, see if anybody had any questions, either about your experience at RYLA, about the project itself, what you guys are up to. It's very quiet tonight. We're not usually the quiet ones.
Guys are waiting for questions. Come on. I'm not scary.
Jerry, how many times have you been to RYLA? You've been, so Jerry was,
7 times. No, 7 times for sure.
yeah.
I
Jerry
was,
was, district governor for 6380 5 years ago?
20 years ago.
No, it wasn't 20 years ago, was it?
19 years ago, 2006, 2007.
Born.
I was
Yeah.
younger than Amanda is now.
Yeah, that was a million years ago.
He has his trailer hitch cover to prove it.
Yep, I do actually. Yeah, I need to dig that out, put on the new truck.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, I've been around Rotary a long time. I did RYLA for 6 or 7 years, up until I started in the governor line. In fact, I was for like 5 or 6 years, I was the MC of the whole thing. And then once since I've been one of the motivator speakers, whatever, the keynote speaker, I think it was one of them as well.
So Jerry, you must have been president when I was a RYLA speaker, when I was pregnant with Maggie, who's going to be 21 this summer. I didn't realize that. That seems like a million years ago.
You mean governor? Oh, yeah.
Or governor. Yeah,
yeah.
you must have been governor then. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So a little young to be a governor, but it was a great year.
It was good stuff.
Well,
So,
may I ask a question? I would love
yeah,
to
you
know
can.
what Randy is doing next after graduation.
General.
Yeah, in general, what are you up to? And then where are you headed? I know where you're headed, but tell the group.
I'm going to Schoolcraft College for nursing next year. Although, this summer I'm working at EMU, Eastern Michigan University, at their urgent care, and I'm going to be trying to take classes to be EMT.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Nice.
What about Sally? Sally has a year, but like, Sally, what are you doing?
Well, I kind of want to go to art school, so I'm just like preparing a portfolio right now and getting ready to apply to college in the fall.
So Sally, we didn't talk about that. You should have said that to me. So my sister is a graduate of the College for Creative Studies in Detroit. If you ever want a connection there to talk through and what her experience was. Or if you want to come down here to DC and do a tour anywhere down here. All you guys should just come down. Just come do a field trip to my house. We'll take you everywhere.
I'll be there in like 20 hours.
I'll be in Florida. Don't come this weekend.
What?
Actually, here, I'm going to pose a question. You know, there's many years of experience on this call. What would you guys share with them what kind of advice would you give them? So I'm interested to hear what we have to say. Come on, guys.
So I'll jump
So maybe-
in. Again, my name's Tom Painter, and I've been doing human resources work for about 40 years. So I have experienced a lot of different types of activities doing human resources. As far as the RYLA project that you talked about, I was just thinking about my kids who had gone through the process of trying to find summer jobs. My daughter has now graduated from college and she's working for Google in New York City now. My son is going to enter his senior year at the University of Michigan this fall. So they were pretty good about reaching out to local businesses to just make contacts. And I think we help them do resumes. First off, by the way, I think it's great that you guys on this project are setting up a give back to the community of trying to help others with cover letters, resume writing, how to do job searches. So good on you. I'm in between jobs right now, so I'm volunteering as a job coach at one of the local charity organizations here in Northern Virginia. It is a tremendous give back, a tremendous sense of purpose as I'm in between jobs. But as you get to the point of, I think you have a next step in your project where you're going to try to meet with other people to talk about getting a summer job. If that's the case, I do know, at least with my kids, there was a struggle on trying to figure out, well, how do I put that first resume together? How do I actually tell a prospective employer, what are those things that I can do? And I know it seems like a daunting task, but for both of our kids, what we did is we just walked through what were the things that they were doing in high school. Was it sports? Was it other types of activities? And then we help them to bring out certain skills that a lot of times high school students don't even realize that they're mastering those things, such as time management skills. I will tell you, the balancing of the courses, the activities that you do, whether it's sports or clubs, if you're doing a part-time job, I tell you, that is one of the things that employers I've worked with over the decades have always valued, people who have good time management skills. So if you're helping people with trying to figure out how to prepare a resume, that first resume, how to prepare a cover letter, I do think that there's valuable skills that they have learned and that they can offer to employers right away. The other comment that I would make, listening to the three of you talk about your RYLA experiences, not to put a damper on it, but there's actually a very businessy thing that you just described, and that's called networking. And so when you do these kinds of camps like RYLA, don't underestimate the value of the fact that you're meeting people who are at about the same age, similar interests, and people that you should just be staying in touch with, and always be responsive to them when they're reaching out to you. And so even though we don't necessarily use the term networking at things like the RYLA activities, man, that's a lot of good networking that you guys just described. And as you said, as you guys were talking about the introverts, just getting into the practice of the interpersonal communications, meeting new people. I mean, those are skills that you're going to use the rest of your lives. And so just understand the value of doing those kinds of things like RYLA, that is way more than you might actually think about. But networking is actually one of the most important things. I kept hearing networking in my mind as I was hearing you talk about your RYLA experiences. So again, I those are some of my comments. But I do want to applaud your efforts to give back to the community. I have always done that in the companies I've been in. I've always set up community outreach programs, homeless shelters, all the different activities we've done over the years. So when I see young people actually going out and do it, because I didn't when I was younger. So you guys are well ahead of where I was at that time. I actually think that that's a very good it's a very good attribute that you have. And by the way, prospective employers are going to notice that as well, that you're engaged with your community. So sorry for a little bit of a ramble there, but I just figured as I had the mic, I just kind of get as much as I can in. So thanks
No.
for the mic for a few minutes there. Thanks.
No need for apologies at all. Thank you so much, Tom. That's great advice. And I will say to Randy and Sally, and you can pass it along to the rest of the team, the fact that you went to RYLA should be on your resume, and this service project that you created should be on your resume, right? These are both things that you did that an employer would love to see, right? See the
Yep.
teamwork activities, seeing that you could work with a team to come up with a tangible effect at the end of it. Both really great things.
Yeah, and also I was just going to say, if there are classes that you are taking or have taken in school that apply to, what you're interested in or what maybe some of your electives, include those, relevant courses enlist. Because Sally, you mentioned, you are very interested in art. I'm going to guess you've probably taken, quite a few art classes during your time in school. You can always list those as, relevant courses to show that, you truly are interested in that area and that you've been focusing on, building your skills in that area.
I'll actually add to that. I do I do a lot of volunteering. I'm actually out of Houston, Texas, and I work with the Rodeo Houston Foundation, and one of my grand jobs is a scholarship review. And I can tell you, when you fill that paperwork out, just, advice wise, sharing the fact that you went to RYLA is a big deal. We're looking to give scholarships to people who are looking at service to the community, who are thinking, beyond themselves. And it's very important to be able to share that information. My personal thing is don't be afraid to talk to people. I'm married to someone who is like the polar opposite. So it's very funny when you meet us because I'm the one who's like 200 miles an hour ahead first. And I spent yesterday at the PTSD Foundation here in Houston. And my club is going to hear a lot about that in the coming weeks. It was an amazing experience, and it came about because I had a conversation with someone. And we're looking, ultimately at how do we give back? And so, be open to those conversations. You really never know who you're going to be sitting next to or, who's going to be in the same room or who you're introduced to. So I encourage that highly.
You never know if you're going to give a ride home after play practice to the French foreign exchange student who introduces you to Jerry Jackson, who talks you into being an exchange student and changes your whole life. You never know.
Yeah, I
I
think
would like to say I'm like best friends with one of the exchange students now.
Is that Bensa?
No, Martin.
Oh, Martin. Awesome. Martin, the one that wouldn't come out of the high ropes course. Did you know that? He was
I did
up there
not.
the entire hour and a half. He went around and around and around and around and around.
yeah, I think
Jerry, sorry,
I
go
was
ahead, Krista.
No, I was just going to piggyback a little bit and continue the thread Deb started with the importance of not just networking, but maintaining those relationships. And I'll use me and Tom as an example. So we started working together in 2004, I believe. We only worked together for a couple years until around 2006, 2007. Well, it is now 2025. I mean, Tom and I just had coffee together like 2 or 3 months ago. So we have been we worked together a couple years, we were colleagues, but we've been, kind of friends since then. So don't forget about, or don't downplay the importance of keeping those relationships going. Because like Tom said, he is in between jobs right now. He asked me to get together for coffee just to kind of chat, like not only to catch up personally, but just also, did I know of anything where, I might not know of anything, but then I might hear somebody else say that they're looking for, a head of HR. And I can be like, oh, I know Tom's looking. So just, keep those relationships going. You don't have to talk every week, even every month, but, check in with your people and stay close to them.
I think you guys heard me say it about 19 times when we were there for the weekend. Create a LinkedIn account and use it, right? Definitely connect with people who you enjoy, who do things you like, right? So that every once in a while when you're like, I need, for me, like I'm like, do I know anybody at XYZ company? And I can go to LinkedIn and I can check, do I know anybody at XYZ company? I'm like, oh, I sure do. I have a warm friend there that I can touch base with. Tom's a perfect example. Tom and I worked together in 2009, shortly after he and Kristen worked together. And then we didn't really talk much other than just kind of in passing until last year when I was looking for a partner for an opportunity that we were looking at my company. And it happened to be that his company was the partner that I needed. So, those are things that, 15 years later you can come back to.
On the LinkedIn thing you're talking about, it only took me 10 years to figure out I was retired. But they kept contacting me because when I retired, I put down I was the CEO of the Wyndham Estate after I retired from GM. So somebody headhunting kept contacting me, and it was like, I'm retired. Leave me alone.
But you're a CEO, Rory. Obviously, you carry
Yeah, I
that.
understand.
You can't rest even
Wait.
when you're retired.
But like on this call right now, you've got Kristen, Tom, and I work in the government contracting world and mostly in the IT and security space. Deb has myriad experience, but some of it also in my space, but she also does vacation properties and is a property manager in Aruba. What? Jerry is an engineer who has his own company that he works for. Rory retired from General Motors on the engineering side. I think you were at the Proving Grounds, right?
I was
And
down at headquarters.
headquarters. Steve, I apologize. I don't know what you were. Steve, Keith, and Tom, I know you guys personally, but I don't know where you were in the world. But, you know, all of us have varied experiences. We're all going to have different people that we're connected with. So you never know. Keith is actually Santa Claus. He's just on incognito. He usually has a very large beard. He rides a red motorcycle.
Ho, 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 ho.
There you
Do that pretty well too, huh?
go.
Hey, I just want to add in because they're at the age where they're still considering their careers and what they're going after. And I used to do a presentation at the local National Honor Society every year for them for their annual banquet anyway. And I just want to point out, as you're developing the things you want to do, don't let money or power motivate you, because it never does. Okay, it never satisfies. When you think you're not getting the money you should have for something, that's a demotivator. But the money never motivates you to do more or anything. What motivates you is if you follow your heart. Okay, follow something that challenges you here and hits you here. And it doesn't matter if it's a doctor or a janitor or a locksmith or a carpenter or whatever. If you're happy here and you're challenged here, that's going to make you happy and successful throughout your life. And the money and the power follows. Okay? Just keep that in mind. And I'm a consulting engineer. I'm trying to be retired. The good and bad news is my clients don't believe that. And so every now and then I got to go back to work and work real hard. I prefer to be working and I do the same stuff on my volunteer work, okay? Actually, I try to do my volunteer stuff full time now, and the same thing. It's got to be here and here. And
Jerry's here is in Guatemala.
there you
Jerry
go.
goes down to Guatemala. I think he actually spends more time in Guatemala than he does in Davisburg, Michigan now.
If you
But,
need like
The
I
last
can finish the
year
case.
I've spent more time out of here than I have here, all around the country and in different countries. But yeah,
our club with Jerry at the helm, one of the things that we do is we fundraise for a clinic in the mountains of Guatemala. That is a very rural clinic that provides eye care and general health care to the local populace. So I want to again say thank you to Randy and Sally. I really appreciate you coming today. I know Randy always wants to travel. I don't know if you guys see that note there. She said anybody who needs a shadow, she wants to travel. She's like, you won't even notice I'm there. She's said this to me multiple times. But Sally and Randy, thank you very much for taking time out of your very busy schedules. I know that you are crashing to get the school year done and crashing to get snacks probably for graduation for all night party tomorrow night. Randy, please tell Leland that we said thank you as well. Kristen and Tom, our very heartfelt thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. As the kids get their projects set up and start getting things going, I will be adding you to any comms where they're looking for some mentors from afar, and I'll let you know. Same with our group. Thank you. Same with the rest of our group. Same thing goes there. And if you guys from the Rotary side, if any of you are interested in maybe taking this concept to your local brick and mortar clubs, or if you're aware of a RYLA or an Interact club that is in your local areas, let us know. I'll make sure that the team knows, and I'm sure that they would be willing to hop online and do their own presentation to those clubs. Randy and Sally, do you guys have any other questions for this group?
If you guys have any idea for Interact clubs, I can reach out. I mean, I'm not part of the Interact anymore because I graduated, but I could reach out to the Interact leader, and she'll happily listen. You know. So if you guys have any ideas, feel free to reach out at any point.
Thanks, Randy. So for our non-Rotarians, Interact is Rotary for high schoolers. There's Interact, and Rotaract is high school to basically graduated college. And at that point, we bring them into full Rotary, but you can always be a Rotarian. From 13 to 93, 103. I don't care. You're always a Rotarian. So with that, Jerry, if there are no other questions or comments, again, thank you very much for everybody. And we could probably wrap up.
Well, with that, our next meeting is the first Wednesday in June, and Rotary changes every 3 years. It's constantly in change of what dictates what a club is and what you do and all that stuff. And the annual or the every 3 years, there's a group comes together. There's a representative from every district in the world, and that just was completed in April. And there's new changes going into effect 1st of July. And our representative, past district governor Sparky, is going to come and speak to us about what changes occurred and how the experience went. And that'll be our speaker on the first Wednesday of June. I want to thank our guests, very in particular, the young people, all three of you. Thank you so much for participating. Rotary hit me when I was 17 as an exchange student. I hear you all talk about introvert. I was a nerdish little introvert guy, and Rotary opened me up for the rest of my life, and it's still doing the same. So you just feel blessed that Rotary hits you at this age, and if you let it keep hitting you, it'll keep giving to you. Okay. And Kristen and Tom, hope you're looking for a Rotary Club. We're a great one. And thank you for coming, everybody. All right. And with that, the four-way test. Rotary has something called a four-way test. I don't know if you guys got to experience that at RYLA or not, but I figure Amanda would be a good person to lead us tonight in the four-way test since her voice is all warmed up.
Oh, is that how I always, you know, I know it. I'm still gonna look it up.
We actually,
So
we do a five-way test as a
we do a
club.
five-way test.
We'll let
So-
Amanda do it.
Rotary's four-way test of the things we think, do, and say. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, of course, will it be
Will it be
fun?
fun? Thank you, guys.
Thank you all very
All right,
much. I
everybody.
appreciate you being
Thank
here.
you all.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Rory, I'm going
Bye.
to call you on the phone.